Atheists. Why care about religion? If you're an atheist or free thinker, you might think there's no point in caring about religion. I got a friend who isn't interested in any religion at all and thinks that it is brainwash. What's the point of religion? Why should we care about it? What happens if we decide not to care or commit to a religion? That's what I wish to go through in this video. I hope that after going through this video, you'll see the huge implications that it would have on how you go about life. Note that most of my points are not specifically for Christianity, though I mostly make videos about it. Let's go into the few reasons to care about religion. Firstly, if there actually is a God, you would want to know what life after this earth is like, and how to be saved from damnation. Now, let's slowly unpack this. If there is no God, then there would be nothing after your death. Some describe it like it's pitch black. You hear nothing, see nothing, feel nothing. It's just pure nothing. You're just wiped out of existence. Like how you were before you were born. And I do kind of agree that that's for the case that there's no God. And as from what I can tell, it means that what I do on this earth doesn't matter. However, if there is a God that exists, then most religions agree that there is an afterlife. Furthermore, you will have to do or believe certain things in order to have a good afterlife. I know the TV sitcom The Good Place describes it like you have to accumulate a certain amount of points from actions or beliefs you had in your earthly life, and it is somewhat accurate. Quite some religions believe in doing good deeds to have a better afterlife. Meanwhile, others believe in simply believing in something in order to be saved. There are many possibilities the different religions have, such as heaven and hell or better reincarnation. Basically, it boils down to this. If there is a God that created an afterlife, then you would want to know how to be saved from damnation after you die. I would argue that this is such a huge reason to go about really searching for which religion you think is correct. If the way I use my short earthly life impacts the afterlife I'll experience, I would like to know how to go about life. Meanwhile, if I believe in a God that doesn't exist, at least it means that I don't go about having any punishment. This is called Pascal's wager, an argument for atheists to really consider. When you think about how immense the consequences for believing that there's no God are compared to the consequences for wrongly believing that a God exists, you would then realize how crucial it is to at least delve into this topic. Perhaps the world keeps telling us that life is too short, so enjoy it. But no one really tells you that eternity is gonna be way longer, so prepare for it. That's just the first reason. Secondly, you can better understand the purpose of life. For now, you might believe that humans just spawned on this earth and it's up to us to define what our life is about. However, if there is some deity or creator for our human species, then it changes. Instead of us humans trying to define the purpose of life for ourselves, we should instead figure out what this deity or God made us for, then live a life aligned to that purpose. Does that make sense? Perhaps we could be more connected with what we are made for if we truly know our purpose, instead of trying to go about our own ventures such as being very rich or maximizing as much pleasure as we can before we die. It's likely that we'll be more fulfilled if we know the purpose this creator gives us, rather than trying to trial and error on our own. Let me give an example. If a fish thinks its life is about staying on land, it will not live out what it's truly made for, which is living underwater. Similarly, if we think our life is to maximize the pleasure on earth, but we are not truly made for that, then we would suffer as much as a fish on land. Therefore, if you didn't care much about religion, perhaps you might want to first answer, what are you living for, and what's the evidence that what you're living for is right? Then perhaps you have to go through the different religions to hear what they have to say about those two questions. Now for the third reason. Thirdly, if there is a God, then there are absolute truths to certain things in life. We currently live in this world that wants to be inclusive, so here's what we wrongly do. We validate everyone's beliefs as correct. Or rather, if that's the conclusion you come to, then it's fine. For the most part, the world's morals is in a grey area. And if you don't believe in God, you would think that all our morals are in a grey area. Because it's up to us humans to decide. What I think can be different relative to what you believe in. If we truly have the authority, then it's up to us to define good and bad. For example, most say that pedophilia is bad, but there are some who think pedophilia is fine. Then we just conclude that, well, if that's what you believe, that's fine. However, if there is a God that created us, then he has the authority to define good and bad. Again, morals are mostly in a grey area, but a God would have defined some morals definitely in the black and white. For example, murder is wrong. Then, if someone thinks murder is fine, then we will instead conclude that that person is not aligned with what God designed for us. Hence, we will go about trying to correct their belief instead. Now, back to the example on pedophilia just now. If you feel uncomfortable with the thought that we allow people to believe that pedophilia is fine, then the question you got to ask is why? Why did you feel uncomfortable? Why is it wrong to commit such acts to children that are too young to consent to such things? Is it because they should be protected? Is it because they are of some value? Because if we don't come from God, then we don't have a purpose or value in this life. We just come from matter. and energy. We're just a cosmic accident. In fact, for an atheist, he has nothing to live for. If that's the case, then what's the point of living longer, especially if we are wiped out of existence after death? What's the point of suffering so much in this world if you decide to stay for it even longer? Why do we bring people to hospitals instead of ending their life early? Why not after getting cancer just succumb to death? Why go to a hospital to try living longer? I think these questions show that there's another reason to care about religion. It helps us to understand the value of our life. It's kind of weird hearing the pieces of advice in this secular world. Live, laugh, love, you only live once, all of that. But if atheists can conclude that we are not created for a purpose, it means that our life has no value. If that's the case, then what's the point of doing good things in life? In fact, what's wrong with shortening people's lives to put them out of their misery? These are the questions that atheists have to wrestle with. However, if there actually is a God, then we need to know if this God gave value to our lives. And what is our value? Again, massive implications on how we go about life, viewing others. I think this would do for this video. I think this might spark some controversy and discussion going on in the comments section. But if I can get at least one person thinking about religion, I think it has done its job. Feel free to have a discussion in the comments below, but please try to be civil and respectful about it. Watch my other videos if you're curious about Christianity. For the rest of us who are Christians, let's continue carrying our cross as we are on the go for Jesus.